What is going on, Diablo 2 fans? Dobrunsky here. In today's video, I'm going to be demonstrating some gameplay with a Bowazon using the newly revealed rune word Mist. So I'm going to cover a couple different scenarios where I think it actually excels with the Bowazon and compare some damage values with a couple different pieces of gear. And it will explain how it's actually able to test using the rune word Mist. So I'll cover that all in today's video. Again, a quick reminder before we jump in, just want to let you guys know that if you do enjoy my YouTube content, I do stream twice a week on Twitch. And I got the link for my Twitch channel in the description below. So any follows on that platform would be very much appreciated. That being said, guys, let's jump in. So this is our hero edited test of the new rune word Mist. So obviously this does not take into consideration the additional skill balancing changes we're going to see in patch 2.4. But this is, courtesy of my moderator Nick, a hero edited Mist. So again, the reason why, just asked in chat there, M8YST asked why I'm not putting points into Pierce. The rune word Mist, which has just been debuted today, has a 100% chance to Pierce. So it frees up the need to invest points into Pierce or use the belt Razor Tail. So it adds a lot of versatility. Now again, I've only tested this for literally like 10 minutes before slapping together this character file, but based on a tiny little bit of multi-shot, strafe, and freezing arrow and fire kind of hybrid setups, I do feel like Mist is better suited towards hybrid elemental damage. Now there's not actually, surprisingly, a huge raw damage difference between using ice versus Mist for freezing arrow, so that's really cool. Just going to quickly run over the character very briefly. So I have enough strength to equip my gear, enough dex to equip my gear, and then everything else is put into vitality and energy split. Freezing arrow is very mana intensive, so I put enough to get 500 mana before battle orders, then everything else into vitality. So just doing that like kind of like dual split combo I think is better for freezing arrow. And then for the skill tree, this was already been brought up. Why did I not invest points into Pierce? So we'll start off with passive and magic. The reason I did not is because Mist has Pierce, so it frees up skill points. So I put 20 hard points into critical strike, 1 hard point into penetrate, and then I put 1 hard point into dodge, evade, or avoid, and evade. Some people like using these for Bowazon, some don't. Some people like it on Bowazon. I hate it on the Bowazon, but just had some extra points. The stat is weird. The actual rune word card, Dusky, says 327% ED. I don't know why. My moderator Nick just mimicked it exactly, so that's why it says 327 ED. For bow and crossbow, again, I did kind of toy around with strafe, multi-shot, and freezing arrow, exploding arrow hybrid setups. I do feel like freezing arrow is a better choice, at least for the rune word Mist. So I completely maxed out freezing arrow and cold arrow because it's a damage synergy, 1 hard point in ice arrow, and then you could put more points in ice arrow, but you're just boosting the freeze length. You already have freezes 2 seconds with a high enough attack speed. Everything's frozen, so it's not really an issue. And then I put 20 hard points into fire arrow, 20 hard points into exploding arrow, just so I can spam exploding arrow for cold immunes, because there's a lot of cold immune monsters in Chaos Sanctuary. I'm only going to do a quick Chaos Sanctuary run. And I put nothing into javelin and spear skills because it is a Bowazon hybrid setup. Now for the gear, again, hero edited, not fully optimized. I haven't even looked up breakpoints. Ideally, I would want to be using a matriarchal bow, but this is a Grand Matron bow. So Mist, level 9 concentration aura, 3 to bow and crossbow skills. That's just the base, and the rune word, the rune word actually has 3 tall skills. So we get plus 6 skills. Again, the piercing attack, IS, and then we copied everything else. I completely like the debut of it today. The freezes target, vitality, all res, very cool stats. And then I just quickly slapped together, so Nightwings, High Lords, Enigma, Fracted's Mesh, Ravenfrost, Dual Leech Ring, Travs, random 220 gloves, Boa Skillers. Now there's a couple things that I want to point out. First is the overall cold damage. Yeah, exploding arrow there. So with this setup, I have 3,600 cold damage with Mist. If I switch out to ice, jumps to 4,000. So if you directly only look at the hard cold damage numbers, it's less using Mist versus using ice. But there's a big but here. You get... There's a big but. That sounded bad. You get other beneficial stats, like freeing up your skill tree. You don't need Pierce. You get Concentration Aura for really hard-hitting Mercenary, which are going to cover his damage in a second. So there's kind of like pluses and minuses to using both. Mercenary is Act 2 Might Aura Mercenary, Fortitude, Infinity to boost freezing arrow damage, and just a champ V-gaze, so life leech and damage reduction cannot be frozen. But his actual damage values, hopefully it doesn't take too long for his Might Aura to kick in. He's at 8,000 prior to his Might Aura kicking in. When the Might Aura kicks in, I'll show it, it jumps up to 10,200 damage. So versus if I was using ice, I'd have more cold damage, but at the same time, my mercenary would do less damage. So when a priority is trying to handle cold immunes, there's the possibility that the extra point or the extra damage value that you get from Mist might outweigh the benefits of ice. Again, it's like some theory testing, not fully optimized, but the reason why I'm using exploding arrows, I just switched to that for the Oblivion Knights. Maybe with the new balance changes, with no cooldown on Immolation Arrow, maybe we can use it. The cold immunes aren't really a problem. Between the Mercenary and Exploding Arrow, problem. Okay, so the Might Aura is kicked in now. So again, 10,000, actually I'm wrong, 10,394 damage. So this is P1, but let the Mercenary just do his... Mercenary tanks. So if you were comparing using, like, Pride and Faith, that's more damage for your Boa setup, but your Mercenary will do way less damage. Your Mercenary will be Z DPS. That's another advantage to Mist. Thank you, Lucky, for the 11 months, my dude. Thank you very much. So if you're just catching up, Lucky, we're doing a quick little test here of what Mist would be like. So I do think it's best suited to hybrid. I am sacrificing some cold damage compared to ice, at the expense of having a stronger Mercenary. There's way more testing to do. Test out on the Merc when they actually update skill tree. And ideally, I'd want to use a Matriarchal Bow for faster attack rate, but is it really better than Strafe? I would have to do like a direct comparison, but I think like a multi-shot setup, players 1, this is pretty close. If anything, I think it's close to the same speed as a Faith setup. So I did also want to include a little bit of bonus footage here of a Faith Bowazon setup. So I'm using an Act 2 Might Aura Mercenary with Rumored Pride and pretty much perfect multi-shot gear. So this is a pure physical approach, and then we're comparing the clear speed to a freezing arrow setup using the Rumored Mist. Now it is players 1 difficulty in both videos. It's not a direct apples to apples comparison, but I think a lot of people are not seeing Mist for what it is. It's a great hybrid rune word with really cool stats like Pierce and Concentration Aura. I don't think it's meant or intended to be the best physical damage setup, and I don't think it's intended to be the best freezing arrow setup, but I do think Mist kind of falls in between as a great hybrid choice. I mean, anything that's not cold immune is getting one-shotted. Bowazon is never like a hammered in anyways, even with like the best possible gear. That decrep hurts though. And again, this is really just to showcase. So I have like Exploding Arrow is 3k. There's my physical damage. There's my physical damage is 3k. Exploding Arrow 2,300. Freezing Arrow damage. Like this is good all-around setup, and I also have really good resistances too. For Hell difficulty, using Enigma, Torch and Annie, High Lords. I don't even have res on my boots. Like I'm not using tri-res boots. I'm not using laying hands gloves. 13 fire res, 26 cold, 75 lightning, and 13 poison. And that's all from the 40 all res that's on Mist. So you could very easily go without the teleport. Like, you could use Chains of Honor, and you could very, very easily have cap res. And yes, that is a good point. It's not taking into account the raw damage on paper from the negative cold res. That's true. But you are getting the Pierce, stronger Mercenary, and you are getting a stronger Exploding Arrow for dealing with cold immunes. So it's better in some ways. Hopefully I don't run out of arrows before this. Better in some ways than Ice, but not better in other ways. Still seems a bit underwhelming. I would say that's probably just Bowazon is underwhelming. If you compare Bowazon to Hammerden, it's always going to be underwhelming. Like, always. But that's pretty fast clear speed for a Boa. And a unique ring for a video? No way. Unique ring for a video. Do I have a scroll of ID or do I need to save and exit? I probably have to save and exit. Okay. To cap off the video of Mist, what do you guys think? BK ring? SOJ? It is a nature's piece. I think somebody guessed nature's. Someone guessed nature. Okay, guys, so huge shout out to my moderator, Nick, for slapping together a Mist rune word, hero edited. I really do think that people just get hard locked in comparing this to Faith or comparing this directly to Ice. I think it's its own rune word that works really good for hybrid setups. Good physical damage that you're adding to your elemental bows. Works good for like going Exploding Arrow, Immolation Arrow, Freezing Arrow. You get the Pierce, freeze up your skill tree. Really hard hitting Mercenary, like 10,400 damage. That's awesome on a Merc. So you're having a stronger Merc damage versus like a Pride setup for Faith. And it is cheaper than Faith. Cham rune and a Gull rune, I know it doesn't show it, so it's a Cham and a Gull rune versus an Ohm and a Jaw, or a Jaw and a Low for Ice or Faith. So overall, I think Ice is really good. Just let me know in the comment section below, guys, if you guys completely agree or disagree with the setup. I do think it makes Cham more valuable. I think it's a very solid, cool bow that does have some other uses for Mercenary. Again, this was not an optimized video. Just a quick kind of release on Mist. Yeah, let me know in the comment section below if you guys think I missed anything. If you could throw a like on it, that'd be awesome. I'll catch you guys on the next video or live stream. Peace out.